Hi Bobcats, this is Miss Lee, and today's video lesson is on solving one-step inequalities with negative coefficients. Please make sure that you're taking good notes as you watch the video. Okay, take a look at these two inequalities and their solutions and their solutions being graphed on the number line, and see if you can spot the difference between them. Okay, well, there's actually a couple differences. The first one is that for the first one, you are multiplying by a positive 3. So to solve the inequality, you would have to divide both sides by a positive 3, and you get that x is greater than a negative 7. On the second inequality, you have to divide by a negative 3, which gives you a solution of x is less than negative 7. So really, your solution is negative 7, but what's different is that for one of them, it's greater than negative 7, and for the second one, it's less than negative 7. So why did it change? You're still, over here, you're dividing by positive and a negative, right? So why did the inequality change? Why did it get flipped? That's what we're going to talk about. And the easiest way to show you is with a model. So first of all, you need to know that when we multiply or divide by a negative number, we have to reverse the inequality symbol. We have to flip that inequality sign. So our example is negative 2x is less than 6. Model it with our algebra tiles, 2 negatives over here, 2 negative x tiles on the left side, 6 positive unit tiles. The first thing you have to do is you have to turn the x tiles into a positive. Remember, when we're solving equations or solving inequalities, it's always x equals or x is less than something. It's never negative x equals. It's never negative x is less than something. The x, or whatever the variable is always a positive, and that's what we need. We need to have positive x tiles. We have 2 negative x tiles. So we have to somehow get rid of those 2 negative x tiles. And to do that, we do the opposite. You can't just change the symbol and make it a positive sign. You have to make the 0 pairs. You have to undo. So the way to undo these 2 negative x tiles is to add 2 positive x tiles. And remember, what you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. So on the right side, we will also add 2 positive x tiles. So what happens is our x tiles on the left, they zero out. Now on the right side, we have what? 2 positive x tiles, which is what we want. So our model now looks like this. Now we're going to do our regular steps. We want to isolate the variable. We want to isolate these x tiles. So we're going to have to zero out these 6 positive unit tiles. And to zero them out, we need 6 negative unit tiles. So hopefully you're drawing this. You go ahead and draw 6 negatives. And remember, what you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. So if I'm putting 6 negative units on the right side, I have to put 6 negative units on the left side. And there we go. Now we can get rid of our 0 pairs. There are no 0 pairs on the left, but we can get rid of these 6 unit tiles, the 0 pairs on the right side, and we're left with this, negative 6 on the left, 2 positive x tiles on the right. Now we continue. Determine the number in each group. Remember, we want to know how much for 1x, not for 2x's. So we know the 2x's are negative 6. We have to turn these negative 6 into 2 equal groups, so that one group goes with the 1x tile and the second group goes with the second x tile. So when we write our solution, we want to know how much for 1x. Well, 1x is going to be 3 negatives. Bring down your inequality symbol. So what happened here? What happened to the inequality symbol? When we started this, it was going to be x is less than some number. But our answer is now x is greater than some number, which is negative 3. The inequality flipped, didn't it? That's why when you have a negative coefficient, if you have to multiply or divide the inequality by a negative number, you have to flip the inequality symbol, and this is why it gets flipped. So if you need to go back, rewatch the model to understand it again, then go ahead and do so. Just pause, rewind, and rewatch. Otherwise, let's go ahead and move on and do this. Okay, so nothing is really different from solving. You're still going to draw your line underneath your inequality symbol. The x is over here on the left side. We need to isolate it. Right now it's being multiplied by a -3, so we're going to do the inverse and divide by a -3. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. Once I see, oh, I'm dividing both sides by negative, I'm going to flip my inequality symbol right now so that I don't forget. Then I can go back and I can do my math. -3 divided by -3 is a positive 1x, which is just x. Positive 21 divided by -3, well, positive divided by negative is a negative. X is greater than -7. Let's graph it. I'm just going to put -7 on my number line. There is no equals line with the inequality symbol, so it's going to be an empty circle. X is greater than. Greater than goes to the right, so I'm going to draw my arrow line to the right, and I'm going to label it X. And there we go. Let's try the next one. Draw my line. This time, X is being divided by -5, so we have to do the opposite of division, the inverse operation of division, and that's multiplication. And we want to multiply both sides by that -5. I'm going to stop. I'm multiplying both sides by a negative number. I'm going to flip my inequality, reverse it. Instead of it being greater than, it's now less than. Now I can do my math. -5 divided by -5 is a positive 1x, which is just x. And 15 times the -5 is going to be a -75. Graph it. I just need to put my -75 on the number line. Because there is no equals line, it's going to be an empty circle. Okay, so there's our -75. X is less than, which means the less than is to the left. So draw your arrow line and label it with your X. Now go ahead and pause the video and solve the last one, then come back to see how you did. Okay, did you get B is greater than or equal to -7? Or did you get B is less than or equal to -7? If you got less than or equal to, then you just forgot to reverse or to flip that inequality symbol. But the correct answer, B is greater than or equal to -7. You go ahead and graph it. This time, your circle dot at the -7 is going to be filled in because it has that equals line. All right, great job, Bobcats.